When you're gluten-free and you have a family, usually you're serving pretty basic things to make the family happy, get food on the table at dinner time, and that's your main goal. But every once in a while, you might want to do something a little different, and that is this recipe. Maybe it's a date night, maybe the kids are off somewhere and it's not officially a date night, but you know, the kids aren't around. So we are going to make Spanish scallops with white wine and spinach. Now, if you're shaking in your boots at the sound of scallops because you happen to watch many episodes of Hell's Kitchen where Gordon Ramsay screamed at people, "It's not a good enough sear, it's wrong, and I wish I could say it in his accent. That would just be really weird. This is not that. We are not searing these scallops. This is so easy. You cook on the cooktop, you put them in the oven, you cook your spinach, and you're good to go. So I have scallops in a pan here with a little oil on the bottom, and now I'm going to cover them with lemon juice. And the reason we're doing this, and this might scare you a little bit, but don't be scared. It's always so good to be adventurous with food, because you know what, if you don't like it, there's got to be something else in the fridge you can eat if you're still hungry. But if you don't try, you're not going to know if you like it or hate it. So the lemon juice is going to kind of cook it a little bit, I'll put that in quotes, ceviche style. This is going to go in the fridge for the time that it takes us to do everything else, and then it's going to pop in the oven and finish up. So they're going to be cooked at the end. It's just a little bit different way of doing them. Okay, the scallops are in the fridge cooking, and now we are going to start what we have to do on the stove. I've got a pan heating up here. I'm going to put some olive oil in there, and then we're going to get in the onion. I've got a pretty hot pan, and we're going to and some prosciutto. Now you can use, this is a Spanish dish. Theoretically, it calls for jamon, which is and I'm probably butchering that name. It is a Spanish ham, but you can use prosciutto. You can even use pancetta. I'm using prosciutto today. And so we're just going to cook these till they get translucent and soften up a bit. We're just going to cook these until the onions soften up and the prosciutto is cooked a wee bit. Prosciutto pretty much is pre-cooked, but I'm going to get a little color on it and soften it up as well. I absolutely love dishes that call for wine because that means I get to drink some wine. I love to have a glass of wine when I cook. It just, I don't know, makes cooking more fun. And this wine is a Washington State Chardonnay. It is unoaked, it's crisp and fresh, and is going to be wonderful in this dish. So whenever you have a wine in a dish, you want to make sure you're actually going to drink it. Don't use some wine that somebody brought over and you're like, I am never having that wine. Oh, I'll cook with it. Yeah, no, don't do that. Only cook with what you will drink. And I'm definitely drinking this. So I'm going to give this a flip or a stir. They're looking pretty good. They're starting to soften. I like that. Okay, so now, speaking of wine, we're going to get the wine in. And the saffron, which is a very popular Spanish ingredient. And we're going to let this cook for about 5 minutes. We're cooking down the wine, getting rid of all the alcohol, but all the wonderful flavor is going to remain. So the wine and the onions and the prosciutto has been cooking for a little while, and I think I've reduced it quite a bit, so I'm going to get the breadcrumbs. Now, we make our own breadcrumbs, but you can get them at the grocery store. Char makes some, Ian's makes, there's quite a few companies who make gluten-free breadcrumbs. And if you're not gluten-free, just use regular breadcrumbs, but do not use the Italian seasoned breadcrumbs. You want plain breadcrumbs here, otherwise you're going to bring some flavors to the party that you're not going to want. Got some paprika, which is another huge Spanish ingredient, and chives. I'm going to mix this together, turn down my heat some, and the wine and the liquid is going to absorb into the breadcrumbs and mix with the paprika, and it's all making a very delicious, kind of like a crumble, which if you haven't figured out by now, is going on top of the scallops. I'm going to hit it with a little salt, little pepper, a lot of pepper. I'm going to hit it just a little bit of olive oil too, just to get a little moisture. Turning this down considerably. Okay, uh-oh, no. What I love about an induction burner is it doesn't get hot anywhere but where you're cooking. So. Okay, so I'm gonna go grab the scallops and then we're going to spoon this on and get it in the oven. I have my topping. I'm going in with a small spoon and I'm putting a little bit. Now, it's gonna be somewhat difficult. You gotta be careful to get it actually on top of the scallop. You're gonna wanna use your hands a bit. It is a little warm, so please be careful. So you're gonna put a spoonful on top of each scallop. And don't worry if some of this gets into the pan on the side of the scallop, because you're gonna spoon it all up and eat it, so it's gonna be really good. But as much on the scallop as possible on each scallop. Okay, I'm going to take what's left and spread it around, but it's nicely coating all of the scallops, which I so love. Okay, we are good. All my scallops are topped. I'm going in the oven for about 5 minutes. And while we're in the oven, I'm gonna saute the spinach. Be right back. I love to saute spinach all the time because I love spinach. But what I do is I add some olive oil. Now sometimes I will crush a clove of garlic and I will let it steep in the olive oil for about 5 to 10 minutes on low. I'm not doing that with this spinach because I don't want to bring any garlic to the party because this is a Spanish dish. Yes, garlic would be fine, but I don't want any garlic in this dish. But one of the things I love to do is take my salt and my pepper and put it into the oil at the bottom. And what's going to happen as I move this spinach around and cook it, it's going to pick up all the salt and pepper and it's going to season it as we go. So I'm going to get this in. This should be warm enough. And if you cook spinach before, which I'm going to assume you have, you know it doesn't take long. I like to move it around a lot. You could just let it sit, but I'm an impatient person. I'm moving stuff around. I like to feel like I'm really in the act of cooking. The other thing I am amazed with every time I make spinach is how much is in this pan right now and how little is going to be there when it's all wilted down. It blows me away. But it's spinach. Now, if I was having a spinach salad where I wasn't wilting it, I'd have a big salad with a 5-ounce bag of spinach. But I am wilting it. So as I'm stirring it, I'm picking up all the kosher salt and pepper that I put at the bottom of the pan along with the olive oil. And so for these Spanish scallops, I chose to serve them over spinach, but you can serve it over rice. You could serve it over potatoes. Boulangere potatoes would be absolutely wonderful, and I've got a recipe for that. But we're going a little bit light because today we are here in Geneseo, Illinois. They're having a heat wave. It's the early May, and it's like 100 degrees outside. So I want something a little lighter and cooler. I don't think I want anything heavy like rice or potatoes, but it would be very delicious with either of those. Okay, so we're all done here. I'm going to turn the pan off or the burner off and just let this sit until we're ready to plate. I'm going to go check the scallops now. The scallops are out of the oven. Now, if you haven't been watching along, you might not know we were living in an RV, and RV ovens, although they are wonderful, they do not have a broiler. So I had to cook these a little bit longer. You're going to cook them probably between 5 and 10 minutes in your home oven. And if you want a little bit more crispiness on the top of the scallop, go ahead and broil them for a few minutes. I wish I had a broiler because I'd be broiling them, but I can tell you I'm going to get a butane torch here shortly because that would have worked really well. So I'm going to plate now. I'm going to get some spinach and put that down in the middle. There, that looks pretty good. Okay, and then I'm going to add some scallops. I'm going to spoon stuff over it because this is I'm just going to get them down here. There's not coming out the way I wanted? Oh, there, that one did. Okay, so we have allocated 5 scallops per person. Rich and I are both eating this meal. Okay, so I've got my scallops down for this dish. So I'm going to get some of the yumminess and spoon it over. This is going to be so good. I can smell it. It's so good. Okay. Okay, I like the way that looks. I got a piece of spinach here that does not belong. And I'm going to hit it with a little bit of lemon juice just for freshness. There we go. Look at that. That is absolutely beautiful, and these are going to be exceptionally yummy. Fork in hand, plate in hand. Here we go. Let's see, I'm going to go with the whole scallop. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's so good. If you love scallops, you are going to love this dish. The scallops are so tender, so flavorful. I used to think I only liked them when they were seared. This is a wonderful way to enjoy scallops. So there you have it, Spanish scallops with white wine and spinach. Quick, easy, absolutely delicious. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We'd really appreciate it. And if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. And as always, the full recipe, you'll find a link in the description below, or go to gfexplorers.com where you'll find all of our recipes. And until next time, happy eating.